to Connect Groups. I'm so honored that you stay faithful to your groups. I'm excited to hear what's going on. One of the favorite comments I hear every single week is, I just kind of ask people, hey, how's your group going? And they go, oh, it's awesome. Our group's great. And so that encourages me as a pastor to know that you're being encouraged, that you're supporting each other, and that actually it's accomplishing exactly what we pray that it will accomplish. So let's dive into a quick review of this past weekend's message. We looked at in Luke chapter 8, we looked at, as we concluded that chapter, the story that were actually two different stories that intersected with each other, the story of Jairus' daughter and also the woman who had the issue of bleeding. In both of their situations, though they were completely different in the physical realities of their situation, they had the exact same spiritual reality, that both of them were connected by faith, that they believed in Jesus and his power to move in their situation. But also they had to some degree, even though if it wasn't their choice initially, what we see is the importance of also having faith in his timing, that Jesus operated different than the timing they would have laid out for their lives, but there was a purpose for it, a perfect purpose for it. But as they put their faith in Jesus, what they were hoping for was something that they thought was their greatest need. The woman thought the issue of bleeding, that being healed, that would be her greatest need. The Jairus thought that his daughter being raised from the dead, that would be his greatest need. And Jesus met them there. And the reason that Jesus met them there is it matters to him. Even for me, I know as a father with my kids, there are times I have a greater purpose in why I do what I do. But I still care about them in the smaller things. So even if I have to discipline them, knowing that the greater good is that in their future, they're going to learn to be a more mature, more respectful person, I still care about them in the time of discipline. I still care about when they're crying, when they're sad, when they're going through that difficult process. And Jesus is the same thing with us. Though the difficulties of life are a process of discipline, as it says in Hebrews, to endure all hardship as discipline, in those times it's tough, but Jesus still cares about us. And he met them there, and he met their physical needs, the lesser of the two needs. But he did it because he cared, and to show us that even in the process of our lives, even when there's a purpose, a greater purpose, Jesus still cares about us in the process. But then lastly, Jesus took them to a deeper level, one that maybe they realized, maybe they didn't. We don't know because the story doesn't specifically say, but we can tell from the language that Jesus used that he was giving us some insight and that the greater need they had was salvation. And sometimes we go to Jesus with the physical need being the most demanding thing on our minds. All we're thinking about is this need in this situation. And Jesus is saying to all of us, don't stop there though. Don't allow our focus on whatever is kind of just captivating our minds and our emotions. Don't let it stop there. That even though we trust Jesus to bring the supernatural into our physical situation, don't stop there. Allow Jesus to take us deeper. Allow us to go deeper in faith and in relationship so that the next time we're facing that situation, we will once again invite Jesus into that. So here's what I know in your groups. I know, because I know this in all of our lives, there's probably frustration and pain and hurt and confusion and all kinds of stresses going on in your lives, in your situations. And so I pray that as you talk about this in your Connect group, that you will be very open and real. Let me give you some encouragement. You don't have to sugarcoat anything. Even though I taught the truths and that there's this purpose and we lay it out, the reality is we still struggle through that at times. And so if you're hurting, if you're struggling, share that with the group. You might be saying, like right now, like it's hard for me to even invite Jesus into my situation. I don't know if I even trust him in my situation, or I don't know that I've ever seen him move. I mean, if that's the reality of your life, share that so that you can encourage each other and pray for each other. And I really believe, I really do, because I've seen this over and over again, that Jesus is faithful, that Jesus will come through in your situation. And it might be to change your situation, or it might be to change you, and it might be to sustain you. But I pray in your groups that you will have a very powerful time of being real, sharing your stories of faith, your stories of struggle, and through that process that you will be able to encourage each other and leave with a greater faith in Jesus Christ. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you this weekend at one of our weekend services.